Well, hello again. This is Christopher Delgado here with Medicare Education 101. Going to go over the beautiful world of prescription drug medication explained. Now, this is an area for concern for a lot of people because sometimes your medications can be very, very pricey. All right. So, and this is, I think it's getting better. I know a couple years ago when I used to do like input at some of these medications, that's when I used to see like the $1,000, $2,000 cost per month, and that's where it's a little scary. I think since they actually inputted what they call the ISP, is Insulin Savings Program, on a lot of the plans that actually help reduce the cost of those plans. So it's better. It's definitely better. But let's jump on into it. Okay. All right. So drug coverage explained. All right. So you're going to see that with a lot of the drug plans, there's actually 4 stages to it. Okay. You're going to see that stage 1 is actually, this is where you have a deductible. And for 2024, that's $505. Now, always keep in mind, that's based on the retail cost. You're going to pay that. So that's where you're going to have to pay that $505 based on whatever medication you are. Then you're going to go into what they call stage 2. And the initial coverage stage, this is where you might not see that full cost of the plant or the medications, because this is where you have that copay where like some medications like your generics like 1 and 2, or tier 1 and 2 might be at no cost to you, but it costs the insurance carrier, $10, $15, $20 or something. Or you have for like a insulin, you'll see that you pay $35, but yet the insurance carrier pays $90. Okay. That's because you actually have a copay, and that's what they call the initial coverage stage. All right. But this, you see right down here, here's the 2024, the $505 or the $5,000. That's based off the retail cost of the medications. Okay. So once you go into the initial stage, and you go up to a point where you go over that $5,000 mark, this is where you're going to enter what they call the donut hole. And so the donut hole is where you're going to pay 25% of the retail cost of your medications, and it can get a little pricey, okay? And depending if you actually have like tier 3, tier 4 medications, if you're taking an insulin, if you're taking a specific like an inhaler for COPD, asthma, something related to that, that's where it can also get a little pricey. Or God forbid, if you actually, God forbid you have cancer in your life, you're going to see that some of the tier 5 medications, they can get a little costly, okay? But now one thing that's changed a little bit in 2024 compared to about years prior is once you get to the out-of-pocket, what they call TROOP, like true out-of-pocket expense of $8,000, you're going to have no more costs. Usually, like in years previously, like you paid anywhere from like $4 or 5%, whatever is greater. Okay, so right now they kind of helping you out once you reach that $8,000 of retail medications. Okay, all right. Now I know some people want to go in detail about, oh my God, how much is it going to cost, and it's hard to explain because keep in mind there's probably about 10 to 20,000 different medications, and each one have different tiers. And a tier with like one insurance carrier, they might have it as a generic, but with another insurance carrier, it's a brand. Okay. The best thing you want to do is just input your medications. Okay. That's going to give us a very, very complete breakdown. I know I've literally tried to explain this to people where they don't want to, oh, I don't want to do that. You just need to explain it to me. It's real hard because yes, your tier 3, tier 4, that could be $35. That could be, maybe less or anything. So what I did is I created it a little easier. If you click on this button right here, what you're going to do is you're going to go over to an area where it's going to be an enrollment platform. And this is where you can sign in, create a profile for yourself. And then from there, what you want to do is just input your medications and see if it'd be more beneficial to have like a generic, a Medicare Advantage plan or like an individual specific drug plan. Okay. Now, once you input your medications, it's going to look like this. So, for example, I just put down some specific medications. I'm going to move my face over here. Okay. All right. So each and every month, they're going to give you a breakdown of what the cost. And since I inputted this stuff in January, that's where you see is $0. But in February, it's going to cost about $156. Now, the plan that I actually showing you, this is actually a Medicare Advantage plan, and the reason I can see that is because a lot of Medicare Advantage plans don't have a cost per month. Okay, so that's where I can tell like the difference. All right, so but here's like a breakdown. So you're going to see the $5, $1, $5, $0, 5. These fives, those are like a tier 2 medication, or what are they called? Non-preferred generic. The $0 and $1, that's usually like a tier 1 medication, which means preferred generic. Okay, and this aprepitant, that's technically a tier 5 medication. That's like a cancer drug. Okay, I just inputted that in there. And then the Lantus Solar Star, that's a very common insulin. Now, one thing that I can tell, and the reason I can tell is, I've been doing this for a while, but this plan, this Medicare Advantage plan, actually has an ISP. And so that means Insulin Savings Program, because what they do is they cap specific medications at $35. Okay? But now, once I input all my medications, you can actually go to over, like you see here. If you have a question about that platform or anything, just call me, make an appointment. I'm going to show you how to walk you through it. But it's giving you a specific breakdown. Okay? 156, 156. So this is what you pay each and every month for all these medications. Now, right about here, see where it says 117? Technically, this is really different because technically this is where they're actually in the Medicare donut hole. Okay? But it's a lower cost compared to a lot of times that's where they have that inflated cost. All right. So it's it's not too bad. Okay. All right. But then more or less you just see the breakdown and how much it's going to cost you each and every month. Now, if I go on to the next screen, so like I said, here's the Ezentembi, which is generic, and the Lantus, which is the preferred brand. The non-preferred brand, so that's actually a tier 4. But let's go, for example, as the Ezentembi. So the retail cost of the medication is technically $16. So that's what the insurance carrier has to pay. But before the gap, what they call the initial coverage stage, it only costs you $1. Now, during the gap, or what they call the donut hole, technically it's going to be $4.23. And the reason why how you get that is the retail cost, $16.91, times 25% equals $4.23. Okay. Now for the preferred brand, which is actually a tier 3, the retail cost is technically $434. Before the gap, the initial coverage stage is $35. During the gap, technically it's also $35. So this is why the reason why it's that is because it has the ISP, like Insulin Savings Program. So if you are diabetic, always make sure that speak with your agent. Hey, by the way, does this plan actually have the ISP? And you're going to see that if it has $35 for all your insulins, then it has that. Okay, and then after the gap, $0. Now for this other one, aprepitant. Okay, I know I just butchered that. Retail cost $234. Multiplied by that 25%, and during the gap, it's going to cost you $58. And a lot of times, this price, you'll see that sometimes for these like tier 4, tier 5 brands, that's where it gets a little pricey. You see, like it gets really pricey. And then 25%, this number can get up there. Again, this is where I've seen where it's been like $1,000 or so per month for some clients. So it's just be aware of that. Okay. And then after the gap, $0. All right, let's go into the next screen. All right, now, one thing that my platform actually allows you is you can log in and you can kind of play with it. Okay. Either if you want to look into a Medicare Advantage plan, prescription drug plan, or an individual prescription drug. And the reason I can tell these are different is because a lot of the Medicare Advantage plans, they don't have that drug deductible. But on this, let me just move this around real quick. On this prescription drug plan that's attached, that works or coincides with a Medigap plan or Medicare Set plan, they do. Okay? And I'm going to move myself over here. And that's where they also have this monthly cost. All right. And then, like I said, I can tell anytime it says $0, I can tell that's the Medicare Advantage plan. $0 deductible, 0 monthly premium, 0 deductible, also 0 monthly. That's where you see like the costs could be $0 for the whole year. Okay? Where this plan might be $4 per month, or actually for the whole entire year. This one's a little bit more, it's $283, and that's for the whole year. So if you multiply, was it 2570 times 11? That's how that comes up to about 283. Okay, yeah, so 283. So, okay, all right. All right, any questions? And like I said, the easiest thing I can do is just once you log in and take a look at that. All right. So now, what is some ways that you can save money on medications? There's a bunch of different ways. The first one that I always want you to be aware of is mail order, because you can see that, like with here, and the mail order preferred pharmacy is actually the insurance carrier. So, for example, like if you work with like United Healthcare, you work with Humana, Cigna, WellCare, all those insurance carriers actually have their own drug mail order delivery service. And for your tier ones and tier twos, those are usually at no cost to you. If you go to a standard pharmacy mail order delivery, that's where you can have this inflated price. And a standard pharmacy might be, hey, I go down to this mom and pop shop pharmacy. Man, they're great. And I got to admit, you get better service at that mom and pop shops, but you have that inflated price because they're that middleman where they got to make a little bit some of the profit compared to when you get it directly from that insurance carrier. So, but just weigh it out. You know, like, all right, if you are paying, if you love that mom and pop shop and you've been going there for the last 20 years and your kids go there and your husband goes there and, or your wife goes there and you can't ever think about leaving them, just weigh your options. Okay. All right. Well, that concludes our talk about prescription drugs. Hopefully that was beneficial to you. Like I said, the best advice I actually have is just log in to the portal, create a profile for yourself, input your medications. You're going to see how much easier it is. And also reply back to, if you have any questions, reply back to the email. Just click reply. Ask me any question that you want. I'm going to try to get that to you within 24 to 48 hours. Or if you want to make an appointment with me and just have a conversation, like I said, my whole thing is I'm not going to try to sell you anything. The only thing I'm going to do is educate you as best way I can. All right. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.